All right, so I thought I was recording and I wasn't, and I'm just gonna keep on going. I am putting a smile line on the nails using Cover Beige, and for this one, again, dip your brush in your monomer. I'm doing a pinky finger now. Take some of that monomer off. You can rub it again. Let it get nice and moist, and then use your brush to maneuver the acrylic down. If it's not wet enough, if it's not malleable enough, or it's hard to maneuver, just take a little bit more. Take your brush, put it in the monomer, and then you just take your finger. Take the finger that you're doing, angle it down, and just angle the brush down. And you just do it like that. So, oh my gosh. Yep. So, it's gonna get real light of the world in a minute. It's called the town hall. While you riding down this dang on freeway yelling, and they coming in, they ain't gonna take up for it. Stuff is looking real dumb. Real. Alright, so that'll work. So, ooh, that's nice. So, we're going to take that brush again and that monomer, wipe both sides off, dip it into the acrylic, or the acrylic, whatever color you're using, let it get nice and wet. And again, you can always remove the product. So I really like the way this product is maneuvering on this finger. It's working pretty good. So, oh my gosh. So that's right. That's looking kind of nice. So, wow. Okay. Oh my. This is a truck. All right, so that's that. And take that, and you are done with the Cover Beige, which is basically the natural look on your French. You can use pink or beige. You can use any color right about now. But this is French tips I'm doing on her nails. And I'm saying her because I'm keeping my mind, and this is my client. And just take the tips, the nails up once they're dry, and look at them and see if you got enough on there. I seen a video on that. Always just take your time, and these came out pretty good. So just take your time. Oh Lord. Oh, huh? Oh my gosh. I'm just trying to stir up some stuff. That's what this is. Okay, so I don't know who doing what. This is what it's up. This is freaking ain't. Dang. Oh, oh, oh. Alrighty. So we're going to take this up. This is stretches, which I'm seeing, which is pretty cool. And move that adjustable. This is cool. They got like little like bands in there. And you can clip on the side. These are cool. I like this. So I can just keep going with it. I am going to now go to my cover. My cover. I could use, I'm doing clear because I want to see the clear. This is just a plain, so this is cover white. So it's just going to be a regular excuse me, a regular French tip. Take some of that white acrylic. So, and then we just take that and then put this on there. So we just put that on there. Take the we just take that and I let my bead get a little bit too wet, way too wet. So take this next one. That's right. Take this, and I'm just gonna take my time and build those up. And just take my time and build those nails up. So everybody wants a trip. All right, so just take the nail brush and you can take the nail brush and guide the acrylic. I'm at 8 minutes. So get into the acrylic, take the nail up, and then oh no. Oh, okay, so pour some more acetone in here. I see it getting a little thicker. Then I'm gonna put my brush in there, clean my brush off. And So I'm going to take my monomer, pour it in. This is ridiculous. So put my brush into my monomer. Take my brush, put it down, let the acrylic, the powder go in. Take the brush up. And ease it up to the smile line. It's not perfect at first. It's going to be all over the place. And more so because I'm off a freeway and all I do is I hear people yelling out their cars all day. So, yeah, that's enough. And it's been like that for about 6 months. If not longer than that. It's been a little crazy. Over here in Michigan. A little crazy. So, anyway. I am trying to learn a new skill and I'm taking my time to learn my skill. Because what else am I going to do? I'm not going to end up like that. So, I'm cool. This is a lot. So, I don't know what this is saying. This is, so I'm dipping my brush back into my acetone. Dipping it into the monomer. And now I'm dipping my brush into my acrylic powder. And I'm putting this over here. And I'm going to let that get, I'm just going to guide it up with my brush. The smile line. And I seen this in the book. And this is my school book. Milady, M-I-L-A-D-Y. And they have a lot of books online that you can buy and prepare for the exam. They also have Detroit's public library had some, but they didn't have the full. They didn't have what you really needed. You got to get the big hardback book. The big hardback. Oh my gosh, the big hardback. Really? The big hardback. The big hardback. Wow, let's see. The big hardback. So the big hardback book. But they also have like a exam prep books on there. They have career guidance journals on there. They have a lot of stuff on there that you can use to basically get your licenses in cosmetology and get on with your life, because it's so much to life to enjoy. I give God the praise and the honor and the glory for allowing me to go through some stuff I went through before the pandemic hit. And it was actually pretty bad. It was just as bad because before they declared it a pandemic, I was already experiencing it. I had actually worked at quite a few jobs where I was getting sick because of my coworkers. I was on the bus. People were spitting on the bus. So it was already happening, but they had to call a pandemic to stop everybody and to slow everybody down. But when you're on the bus and you don't have a home, because I haven't had a home in a long time, and I'm actually staying in a motel right now, and I had to pay off my tickets all because of myself. I had to pay off my tickets, And so, Lord willing, I'll be done in the next 2 weeks, hopefully. If because of some other things, I'm just hoping that the court system is going a little faster than it is right now, because I don't really have to. No one does. Everyone's trying to get on with their life. So, basically, oh, that was a setup. You make sure you came over there for that. So anyway, long story short, long story short, I was already getting sick. I got sick 3 times by a coworker, and he actually lived in the same building that my mom lived in. And it just explains so much to me, because people were already getting sick, and it just came to a head recently. But people were already getting sick, and that was back in 2012. And when I worked for this company, I didn't even know this guy was the same guy. He looked that different. His face had changed because he was so sick. And he would literally follow people around. It'd be early in the morning. This guy was following people around that dang on shop, because he was getting rid of that dang on sickness somehow. And I just recently saw him, and I'm like, I don't recognize this guy. He looks like a shapeshifter. He's so sick. But they're gonna have to, at some point, start testing people at work, because I know that I got sick at this place. I basically got harassed at the job by him. There was another guy that came in, harassed me. I mean, I was down at not Belle Isle, off the Detroit River, and this guy came down there. It was so much weird stuff, but people were just sick, and they were just expressing it in different ways, but it was just getting out of hand how sick people were. And I'm just glad that I'm grateful that they called it, a pandemic, because people have to slow down. If you're having fun, you're making money, you're having fun, you don't really see the effects of a lot of drinking, the effects of a lot of marijuana, other drugs, because it's been a long time known that marijuana is a gateway drug. I worked with a lot of guys when I was in my early 20s. These men had skilled trades. They were journeymen, mechanics, well-paid ones at that, for a company that I worked at. And they basically were telling me, how grateful they were to be off of drugs. And, and they were always encouraging me to just keep on. It's like, if they were saying, shoot, if I got off of drugs, you can do this. This is nothing. You just have to just take your time. And I had already been through losing a really good job with General Motors. And I don't know if I lost some accounts in my cleaning business, but I had some ups and downs in life. And these men were extremely understanding. They had already beaten so much stuff. They had been addicted to cocaine and stuff and crack for over a quarter of their life, over 25 years, and they had already kicked that by the time I turned 25 and was working there, or I was 27 and was working there. They had already kicked the habit, so they were just letting me know, just take your time, just take your time. And of course, I still wasn't getting it until late in life, But it's okay. I'm just grateful to the Lord that I can start a new career, and that's what I'm doing right now. And that's why I'm recording this message on this tutorial on YouTube, because you just have to know that you can always start again. I learned the hard way recently. When you have gone through heck and high water, and I mean HELL, but I'm cleaning up my mouth, and I definitely don't curse on the internet. But you learn the hard way that there are some people who are already successful. They done been through a lot in their life. They do not, and I mean not, want you to succeed. And it's not because you've done something wrong or whatever. They just don't want you to succeed, and you have to understand that. I had already accomplished a little bit in my life when I came back to Detroit, and I didn't know what Michigan was going through. I didn't know how bad it was. The field that I was in, which is manufacturing engineering, it wasn't a whole lot of people who understood what manufacturing engineering was, or had even though I have an associates, I had more experience than they had. And it was people doing my job, basically working as a manufacturing engineer, who had a business degree, nowhere near knowing how to get a product from raw stock to out the door. And I had already learned that at Focus Hope. So that wasn't their fault. That was my fault. I had been through a bad marriage. I lost 3 houses. Was living with my mom. Just a lot of stuff I had to go through. And I had already went through a lot with living with people. I had a miscarriage. Just all this stuff. And I had already, because I stuck close to the Lord, and I still stay close to Him, because I do that, to the world it looks like you're a superhero, you're playing with their life, but really they don't understand that you have a relationship with Christ. It has nothing to do with you. I know I have a shelter I can run to, but in your mind is tear it down because you have something against me. But I've already earned some stuff in life. I'm going on 42, and I have had a cleaning business 3 times. I messed it up, but I had it, and I built another one, and then I built another one. I had employees. I had to learn the hard way what to do. So when I came around guys who really weren't managers, and they were seeing things get better because I was around, they were just saying, "Hey, you're a journeyman. You're a manager. What is this?" Because I am. I have a certificate I got when I was 18 years old, right out of high school, for machining. Not a lot of people have that skill in the world, that you actually have been trained on a manual lathe, a manual mill, a manual surface grinder, and then CNC programming in 1996 and 97. So not a lot of people had that. Focus Hope just broke a lot of ground. So much so when I came to a really good job, he had went through training with people from Focus Hope, and he said I was the best candidate he had seen, and he had a lot of guys come through there, and I was the best. And I really didn't know, because I was going through so much in my marriage. My confidence had went down, and before that, with my business and bad relationships, but I didn't realize how much I was accomplishing in life. You have to keep pushing, because there are mountains that you have to allow God to knock down for you. Even if you can knock it down, you have to allow God to do it. If you allow God to do it, you annihilate the devil's plans everywhere you go. And it's to honor and glorify the Lord. So stay low. Be happy. So learn the balance to that, because some people just don't want you to be happy at all. I was around some people recently, right before the pandemic hit. These people were miserable. I had been through more than them and was happy because I had just paid off my tickets. I had $2,000. My stuff had went from $500, $600 to $2,000, and I was literally going from job to job dealing with people who were not who were mentally ill and dealing with a pandemic, because the virus has been around. I know it has. I wasn't keeping a job because I was bumping heads with these people and I didn't know what it was. And long story short, when I paid that $2,000 off and my unemployment had hit and I could take a breath, I was happy. Just like the commercial, Toyota, Chevrolet, just woo, what a feeling. I was happy. It was genuine. But really, it's the Holy Ghost. I had victory in an area, and as soon as I showed it, I'm not lying, these people went just berserk. Like, what? You've gotten up? And it was no. So you know that the plan of the enemy was to keep you down so that you don't show God's love. However, I could be a little stubborn because I get tired of people trying to bully me around. So it bothers me a little bit. But long story short, I fell in love with watching YouTube videos of manicuring. And when I was in, it was 2011, when I had went through a transition in a job, basically it was time for me to get out of machining. I was good. I was really good. I was already trained. You didn't have to worry about me. It was, so what's next? And really what's next is you're intimidated by my presence. And I was the only female, always the only female. And the guys who really didn't know what they were doing were intimidated by me. The veterans, the journeymen, reading the newspaper, enjoying their coffee, knocking their parts out, going home, going to their family, going on vacations. Those were the level of guys I worked with. And I loved it because I could be in my own little zone doing me. But when I was around the guys who, I have to say it like this, they got in under the fence or they climbed in over the fence and nobody trained them. And you see this woman knocking out 12 jobs in 12 hours when you only got one to do. It became a button of heads. And that happened to me twice. So, at that point, it's like, I didn't realize how much aggression some men were dealing with because they did not get an education. They did not go to school. They did not get, the guys I work with, most of them could have opened their own shop, opened their own auto shop, repair shop if they wanted to. They just were making that much money. They didn't have to because they just had seniority. They were making good money. So when I came back here, I ran into the fact a lot of people were not fully trained in either industrial engineering or manufacturing engineering. And industrial is the whole shebang. Well, manufacturing is too, but industrial is a little bit, I know it's older for sure. But manufacturing, you learn what happens to that product from once it comes in to once it goes out. And I was probably more industrial. I might have went a little further because I wanted to, but that's machining processes. That was, I took machining process 1 and machining process 2. I have if you want to know, I can get my transcripts and you can see my name and my grade point average if you want to know that. But I wasn't the only woman. There are plenty of women that are machinists, and I would love to talk to y'all because it is just a glut in the men that are about to retire and women that are about to retire and the newer generation who don't respect the skill level and the training that you have to be a machinist, because you have to worry about tolerances, you have to worry about tools breaking, tool wear, you got to worry about the person on the ship before you jacking up tools and you come in and they ain't said nothing, somebody trying to sabotage you. It goes buck wild because you got somebody in that shop. And really what you learn in a machine shop is people root that person out. It don't take long. Everybody tell everybody that person, don't talk to me, a liar, get on, you enjoy your day. I got back to Michigan, the total opposite. After the 2 really good jobs I had, and I won't name them because they were really good jobs. But when I was going these other places, these people did not have that skill level. And it was very apparent, and it was your fault because you weren't being understanding. And it's like, no, you have to be trained. It does not matter if you're mentally ill. It does not matter if you have a disability. If you get trained on something, you got it. And it's your skill. Can't nobody take it from you. But when you're dealing with mental illness, a virus, and the fact that you don't have an education, that is a 1, 2, 3 punch. You're trapped. You feel trapped. Okay? And if people around you are laughing about it, they got issues. But they got a job. That don't mean that they're better than you. They got a job though. But all of us are dealing with this illness at the same time. And it's looking real clear to me that some people need to change a lane. Don't let nobody tell you cannot change a lane. I was listening to people on TV and I'm like, well, dang, they bossing up on me. But what I forgot is I had already changed lanes before and they didn't have a clue. I had already had machining. I had already worked for General Motors as a tool die supervisor, but I had some people really hate on me. And if I had went there, it might have went real bad because I had a senior supervisor see me and was like, oh no. And it was the problem that I was a black woman. Not that I was black. That I was a black woman. And to put the icing on the cake to really let you know how bitter some people are, the plant manager was a black man, an attractive one too, but he was a pastor. Debonair, but genuine and cared about everybody in that doggone plant. But you will come in contact with people who are making $125,000 easy. That's their salary, and they get overtime. They banking, but they are bitter. And I mean bitter. I mean bitter. I don't go there. Extremely bitter. But they got money. So it don't matter. Money does not make you happy. You have to find out what makes you happy. In 2011, I wanted to do manicuring. I was like, I think I like doing that. I listened to my then husband, because I'm divorced. I'm totally divorced, but I am abstinent and I ain't thinking about no man, so don't even go there with me. This is about business. If we want to talk business, we can do that. Or we're going to talk about skill level, we can do that. But you might get shut down. I'm at that point. But long story short, I let him slow me down. That wasn't his fault. That was me. He didn't make me. He didn't give me my skills. We both went for machining. I brought him back to machining because I'm a trainer. I know how to train. I'm a business owner. I know how to woo, but I did not have that confidence in myself. I allowed my self-confidence to go down. So basically, don't let somebody tell you you can't switch a lane. Sometimes if you switch a lane, it gets clearer for you what's going on. Somebody tells you to stay in that same lane is because they're trying to put you in a box. Jump out the box.